Hi, I'm Dr. Deb, and it's SAHIFA, November 28th. I'm here, I have the advantage of being with a faculty member as well as 3 students who recently returned during the Eid break from the Maldives, where they had a service environmental trip. I'd like to take this moment to capture what it is that they did. It's one of the many benefits that students at ASD have when we think about our mission to look at the personal and intellectual development of our students and to educate positive, active global citizens. So when I think about the trip that you just returned from and I think about our mission, I can't help but be overwhelmed by the experience that you had, the ability to be able to do what you did. So let's tell our SAHIFA group a bit about it. First, let's just start out with introductions.
I'm Chian Shang, the IB-CAS coordinator.
My name's Kaya and I'm in grade 11.
I'm Sophie and I'm also in grade 11.
I'm John Weir and I'm grade 12.
And she organized this trip, basically from the beginning of the year, put forth the opportunity to students. Could you describe to us what it is that the trip consisted of and what was the purpose?
Basically, this is a different kind of service trip that we're offering. Mainly because it's in the conservation strand, so we're working with a small scientific NGO that has done a lot in the past to advocate for whale shark preservation. One of their major roles has been to maintain a marine protected area in South Orea Atoll, which is where the trip took place. So in terms of the service portion, a lot of these smaller NGOs actually need volunteers to help gather data. And this is data that's used to help evaluate conservation efforts and also the status of the whale shark in the wild, because there's actually a lot that we don't know about whale sharks, their numbers, their distribution and whatnot. So all of these things taken together was the goal of the actual trip. So the goal of the actual trip was to have students get into the water, identify whale sharks, photograph whale sharks for later use and identification, and of course log down locations of whale sharks.
So you got to do that. That is amazing. Talk a bit about it. What was it that you were able to do, and as you reflect now back on the week, what do you feel that you learned?
Okay, well, in last week in the Maldives, we learned a lot about the whale sharks and we got to study them. That was really neat. We learned what they do, and we also learned that they don't know much about the whale sharks, so we kind of help them to learn more.
We got to help ID the whale sharks by taking photos of their fins, and you took photos of their fins and they entered it into their system, and then they could see if it was a new shark or an old shark and where it had been and how big it was and stuff like that.
I think the most interesting thing that I've seen was how important these sharks are to our 3 guides, Jay, Rachel, and Ben. There was a point where we were in the water and there were divers all around of us, swimming around and splashing on us, and they would actually go down and touch the shark. And to see, they were so angry when they saw people touching the sharks because they have really thin skin, and this is one of the reasons that they can't document the numbers correctly because it scares the sharks away. So it was just interesting to see how important these animals were to them and our environment.
Do you feel as a result of the trip that you were able to document whale sharks for the NGO? Did you have successful data capturing experiences?
So
Yeah.
we saw I think 13 sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we took pictures of all of them, and I think that was a lot of data. They said the ratio was really high, the amount that we'd seen and the amount of time we spent in the water. So I think it was it helped them.
We also found a new whale shark that they had tagged before, so that was really neat, and we got to name it.
Did you have a sense that whale sharks are important for the total ecology of the area? Could you see how they fit into the total system?
I think so. And the other reason is like they don't really know how much they fit in and how they help the ecosystem. So they're trying to study to see how much they affect the ecosystems, marine ecosystems. So they don't really know for sure yet, but that's why they're studying them to try and find out.
Interesting, very interesting. So, as you reflect back on the week, when you think about the experience the students had and the learning opportunities that they were able to capture, any final thoughts that you have?
I think in terms of creating globally aware citizens, I think this trip really does embody that. In terms of service, it's really nice to get students thinking out of the box about service, mainly because this is a different kind of service. It's conservation, ecology, wildlife preservation, something that is starting to get a little bit more press, but is still beginning out there. And the really wonderful thing about this trip is just how curricular it is in nature, because you have the PE link there with the snorkeling and the free diving, but of course there's also a lot of solid biology, a lot of solid environmental science in terms of the global issues of conservation, helping to generate data that will prevent poaching. All of that fits in the humanities as well, so it's truly cross-curricular and is really what learning is really about.
Wonderful. Thumbs up for your experience?
Definitely, yeah.
Great, thank you.